Welcome to all the participants in the World Vision International East Africa Region PMD Pro1 course that's running from the 18th of March through the 26th of April. We're on the second half of the course, just starting. This is the facilitator's weekly video for the fourth week, and this is 4A, which will be the first part, which will deal more with the course procedures and administration. And I have a very important set of instructions to give you today on how to access the software, the application that we'll be using for the projects that you've been working on. So let me just move forward. Let's start out just with a review like we've been doing in the other weeks. And remember that each week of the course, you should be taking the practice or the sample exam. And if that's not familiar to you, go back to week 2 videos that I produced, and you'll hear the instructions on that. Keep up with the readings. You'll see the readings, and I've revised them because one of the participants pointed out that the original pages that I gave were not quite in sync, and so the revised ones are in the red, and you'll find that on the website. So keep up with the reading and study. And the self-paced videos, you should be through module 5 on implementation by this week, and then of course the course assignment. And this week the assignment will be to construct a work breakdown structure on central desktop, or at least to get started. Last week your assignment was to do one manually. And then in the second part of this video, I'll be going over some of the topics that you see on the screen here that we usually teach during the implementation module. I also sent out a link to a SurveyMonkey that I'd like for all of you to complete, since this is a pilot offering of this course in this mode where participants are not interacting live in person, face-to-face, or even live online. So we really need your feedback. I can still make changes in the second half of the course, and then when we plan for this kind of course in the future, we can make adjustments. So we're in the fourth week of the PMD Pro1 course. Each class member this week will transfer their work breakdown structure that was produced last week to an online application on what is going to be your own central desktop account. So it will be the same application that we're using for the course, but you will open your own free account. Now, I haven't seen very many of the examples. It seems like most participants are running a week behind, so I got several descriptions of projects this week, but I only saw, I think, just one. There may be more on the site in terms of a photo of the actual work breakdown structure. So I'll be using the one that was submitted today as the example. Just a reminder to watch my videos from the previous 2 weeks again if you need a reminder of some criteria for choosing your class project and completing the manual work breakdown structure from last week. So today I'm going to give you guidelines for opening a central desktop account for yourself, and then to get you started on transferring the high levels of your work breakdown structure. And I'll show you some slides that will give you the orientation to how to register for a free central desktop account, and then I'll sort of take you through step-by-step screen capture of me actually logging on. Now, you should remember this slide from last week when we are in the live face-to-face sessions. The way we teach it is that we do a class activity asking the participants to get into small groups and list all the activities and work related to planning and conducting a half-day workshop, and then to cluster those activities into a graphic format where you have the project here, you have the highest level of work packages that will be done, and then each level gets more and more detail, level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the half-day workshop, then, we usually find people will brainstorm. We usually give them post-it notes, and we ask them to write 1 activity or one piece of work on one post-it note, and then to arrange those into some type of a visual like this, so that you would see for the half-day workshop, you would have the highest levels of work, your work packages to arrange for facilitator, arrange for participants, arrange venue and equipment. And of course, there could be some other ways of doing this. I'm going to mention this now, and I'll mention it again later. When you go to use the application Central Desktop for building your project online, you're going to have another level here that's called Milestones. Milestones are really the product scope. These are the activities here. The product scope would be then what will be produced by arranging for facilitator work package, and that would be facilitator arranged. That would be the deliverable. Arrange for participants, participants coordinated and arranged, arrange venue and equipment, the venue and equipment arranged. So those are the actual deliverables, and they're related to the work packages, but they're put into terms of the products that will be produced rather than the activities. And remember, there were different types of scope. And then what you'll have, you won't have this kind of detail this week, but by the end of the course, if you stick with this software in your example, you should have a well built out Gantt chart that will look something like this for your project. And that's something I'm hoping that you'll be able to do that with the instructions that I give. But let's go step by step. You're not going to get to this what's on this slide immediately. Let me try to get you started this week, and then you'll continue to work on it next week and in the week following until the end of the course. So I'll try to add more detail as we move along. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to register for your own free Central Desktop account. The company Central Desktop, they also are changing their name to what's called Social Bridge, because they're adding a lot of social features, social networking. So if you see Social Bridge, it's the same as Central Desktop. This company is very NGO friendly. They actually have a free version that it has limited capacities, but will work just fine for what we want to do in this course. And you will access this free registration page using the URL or web link on the screen. Be sure that you type that in exactly. You can get to this by going to the home page on centraldesktop.com, but it's a little bit difficult to actually find this because they try to, of course, steer people into their paid products. And they have a free 15-day trial version, but that's not what you want. I don't think you want it. You certainly are free to sign up for that, but you're better off having this free version because it will not expire. The company is providing it to smaller organizations to use for their projects, and so you'll be able to use it for this class, and you should be able to continue using it after the class. All right, so when you go to this URL, you're going to see a page that looks like this. And like I said, it will say Central Desktop, or it will also say Social Bridge. It's the same thing. It's professional free version. And so what you'll do is you'll type in your details. I just made up I'm a participant, first name, last name. Put in your company name, your organization, your email address, your phone number, and then choose your time zone, your country. Don't worry about this referral code. Then you drop down, keep going down the page. Choose a username and a password. You can choose whatever you want here. I just put this in for an example. I'm a participant. And then choose a password and re-enter the password. This is your password. This is your account. No one else will have access to it unless you give them permission. Then you need to choose your Central Desktop web address. This will be the web address that you will type to get to your account. Now, it will have to be a name that is unique, so no one else who has a Central Desktop account will have signed up for that. So if you put in there John at centraldesktop.com, or .centraldesktop.com, it probably won't work. So you probably want to put something in there that you'll be able to remember, and that may remind you what this site is all about. And then you need to give a name to your first project, and this will be the project or workspace that you're doing for this class. So I'm just, for example, going to call this one ABCD, and I think the one that I'll show you online might be XYZ. But if it's a livelihoods project, then call it FLP, Food Livelihood Project, and then that will be part of your address, and that will be something that I'll show you when we go online live into Central Desktop. That will be the name of your workspace. Again, that's your workspace, so it's your choice. And then dropping down more on the page, there's just a CAPTCHA that you have to try to type in here. They're doing that just to keep spammers out. And then tick this box, I agree to the terms and conditions set forth. If you want to receive their emails, tick that box, and then tick on create account. And from that point, then you're ready to log in. To log into Central Desktop, you will now go to this URL, www.centraldesktop.com. Now it's the same place where we have our course, except we have Lingos ahead of Central Desktop, and don't put that in. This time you just want to go to centraldesktop.com, and you're going to see a page that looks like this. And then you're going to see this, what I have in a box here with the arrow pointing at it, customer login. That's where you want to click to log in. And that's where I'm going to now pause the video, and I'm going to set up and show you live as I go into the account. Okay, I'm back, and I'm into a browser. I'm using Internet Explorer. I think that's the one that I found works best with this program, Central Desktop. I've had a little bit of problem with Firefox, Mozilla, and also with Google Chrome, so I found that I don't have any problems at all with Internet Explorer. So I'm going to type in, as you can see up there, I've already done it, centraldesktop.com, enter, and that will take you then to the page that I told you on the slide deck, and you'll tick on Customer Login, and that then will take you to the page where you'll enter the username. I'm going to put in an account that I have, and the password that you assign to yourself in that registration process, and then you're going to do secure login. And it didn't work, so hopefully you will have better luck than me. It defaulted on the password, and I suspect it defaulted to the wrong one. This time I think it's going to work. Okay, now you're going to be at your home page, the landing page for your account. I'm going to show you where you will find the name of your account. You'll go to Workspaces, and you'll see the name of the workspace that you started out with. Okay, so that's the way that you'll do it. If you don't see your workspace there, then you can tick on New Workspace. You then go with the default where it says Project Workspace, and then you will give the workspace a name. I'm going to do a new one. Call it ABCD. I think you can have up to 2 workspaces on this account, and I'm just going to say this is the workspace for the PMD Pro1 course for WVI East Africa region. And you'll see it says my web address then is going to be ABC Doing Good. That was the name that I gave when I registered, different time. And then it's going to be the name of my project. So the URL, if I wanted to go directly to my project, would be that URL. I could easily get there just by typing in the abcdoinggood.centraldesktop.com. And remember, whatever is here will be what you put there. Go ahead and tick this seed with sample data and then do create workspace. So now we are at the workspace called ABCD, and you'll be in your workspace that you created. And you can see across the top here that there are several options that you can follow. I don't want you to get too distracted. That will look familiar because we use that same interface for the course website. I want you to just be concerned about project management. And I'd like you to tick on Project Overview, and that's going to then take you to a page that looks like this, and it's going to say, Welcome to Project Overview. There are no tasks or milestones yet. So the first thing you need to do is to create milestones. All right, so I'm going to be using the example from one of the participants in the class. This comes from Miles. He posted his simple work breakdown structure that he did. You'll see that the project is called Linking OD/IPD to the regional office and each other. And then the high-level work tasks are consult the stakeholders, or actually work packages. Consult the stakeholders, set up logistics, and identify key issues and focus of interactions. And then you'll see the task list of tasks that need to be done under each of these. For today, in order to keep you at a relatively simple level to get started, I'm just going to deal with the higher levels. The project should already be in there. Miles would have put that in when he opened his account. Now we have to convert these work packages then into milestones. So basically you could just say the milestones are stakeholders have been consulted, logistics have been set up, and key issues have been identified. Let's just use those for the milestones. And then I'm going to go back to the central desktop account and show you how you'll enter those in. Okay, I'm back on the central desktop page that I had a little while ago. The first thing you're going to do then is to create a milestone. Now, you can do a lot of learning on your own if you're so inclined by ticking on any of these boxes. Plus, there's also some tutorials that are done by the central desktop that you'll find by going to the front page and looking through the help menu. So I'm going to click on Create Milestone, and this is what you should do. Now you're going to create your milestones. Okay, so I'm just going to type in the ones that I already said. I'm just going to say stakeholders consulted. And then one of the first things that you want to do then is to give this a target date. Let's just say that we're going to do that by the end of the well, let's say by the end of next week, let's say by the 19th of April. So I'm just going to put that in there. I won't worry about the start date right now. Mostly we're concerned about the deadline. There are lots of other drop-down boxes that we can talk about later on. But for right now, I'm just wanting you to enter the milestone and the target date that you want it to happen, then do save the milestone. Okay, don't pay any attention to complete milestone or the task list. We'll talk about that later. At this point, let's go to a new milestone, and we'll put in the second milestones of logistics set up. Let's do it like this, set up. All right, so that's the second thing that would have happened. Let's go back to the calendar, the due date. Let's make this one due on a week later, on the 26th of April. And again, we'll save that milestone. We won't worry about putting in the other details yet. And then we'll go to the final milestone, which is key issues identified Let's just put that, even though there's more in the task, we'll put the detail there. And then let's put this at the end of the month. Let's say the 30th. That's when this project should be finished, and then we're going to save that milestone. All right, so now we've put in the milestones, and I want to just show you what's happening to this information, because the most powerful part of this software is the Gantt chart, and it will build the Gantt chart as you put in this information. So if you go over here to Options and you tick on Project Gantt, it's going to show you the three components that I just put in there. Stakeholders, the three milestones, stakeholders consulted, and the date that it's due, logistics set up and the date that it's due, key issues identified and the date that it's due. So it's building your Gantt chart as you're moving along. Let's go back to the project, and I'm going to enter in one more level. I'm going to put in the task list for these milestones. So what I want to do is to make sure that I've highlighted the first milestone, stakeholders consulted, and then I want to tick on new task list. Okay, this is where I'm going to put in the work package, which is consult stakeholders, which is really just a statement of the work that needs to be done to reach the milestone, and you'll see it's related to this milestone. Make sure that's ticked already, and then all you do is create, and then you will see down here on the side that it now has consult stakeholders under stakeholders consulted, and then you'll go to logistics setup, and you'll put in the new task list, which would be to set up logistics, and then you'll just do create, and then you'll see under here you've got set up logistics. So this is the product scope, and then this is the work or the project scope that's being done. And then let's do the final one, key issues identified. Let's do new task list, and I'm going to put in there ID, key issues, focus of interactions. Okay, so that's create. And now we have what I wanted you to get to today, the highest levels. You have the milestones in your project, and you have the high-level task or work packages for all of the milestones. And then if you want to check and make sure that's correct, you can again go back to the Project Gantt, and you'll see there are your milestones. You can expand all of them either by ticking on this box here, and it will expand everything. And you won't actually see anything else listed there at this point. The next step that we will follow next week will be to add detailed task, what is down in the next level under each of these, and then those will show up on the Gantt chart. So that's really all the farther that I'd like you to go this week. See if you can get logged on to Central Desktop and come in, put in your name of your project, your workspace, your milestones, and then your work packages. If you want to keep playing around with the program, go ahead. You can't do any damage. It's yours to work with. And next week, in the video that I'll do next week, I'll show you how you add the subtask and how you then will build out the rest of your Gantt chart. So give this a try. If you run into problems, don't hesitate to contact me and let me know. This is the end of the first video for the fourth week, 4A. I'll come back in a little bit and go through some of the content